All right. Hello, folks. Greetings. This is Patrick and Regina from Occom Ministries, and we are here to. What are we here to do? We're here to give a report, an annual report, what the Lord's been doing with Occom, and this last year, 2025, and we want to give you a really good overview of how the Lord has used this ministry this year. But before we get into those details, what we want to do is I do have some notes here, so I stay on track. I want to just, for those folks who may be seeing this for the very first time and don't know who Occom Ministries is and what Occom Ministries does, let's just give a quick overview of that. So, what does Occom do? Occom for short, Occom Ministries. And you are certainly invited to go to our website at occom.org. So that's occom.org. There'll be a link below in the link below. And also another website that we have is called nativepastorsgathering.org. And so those two websites belong to Occom, and it gives you an idea of what we do. But just to quickly, just to say that the namesake of our ministry is from the Reverend Samson Occom. And he was a Mohegan gentleman back in the Great Awakening days in the 1700s. And he is the very first Native American Presbyterian minister on this soil, up at least those in the colonial days. But Samson Occom was a Presbyterian minister, and he had a heart for the Lord and for bringing the gospel to Native folks up in his region where he lived. And so there's a lot of reasons why we, just a couple really, but they're good ones, but you can go on our website and just look at that more. But about the name, I say Occom. You can say Occom. It depends who you talk to. It's my name is Lennox. Some people say Lennox. I would never say Lennox, but if you go to Scotland where the name comes from, that's what they say. But I just say Lennox. Excuse me. So same thing with Occom or Occom. It's got the double C. If you want to use if you're hooked on phonics, you have to say Occom. But I've heard relatives of his living today who say Occom there. But he's the namesake of our ministry, and our ministry it boils down to two things: encouraging and equipping. In particular, we're focusing our ministry on Native American pastors, those who are already pastors or those who are already there serving the Lord on the front lines in the vast field, the very vast field of Native America, which is not one people group but a group of groups, right? And so very dynamic, a lot of dynamics throughout that mission field that the Lord has put us in, and we're just trying to help Native pastors do what they do and help encourage them and equip them along the way. And everyone needs encouragement. The Apostle Paul needed encouragement himself. The Apostle Paul, who gives us his so much of the New Testament. So we just try to provide encouragement and equipping. And there's various ways that we do that, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I also want to just let our target audience, just to give an idea of our target audience. We think of the Native American pastor, and then that's our bullseye. Really, in the middle of the bullseye, right? I have a heart and affection for those pastors who maybe have not been able to go to seminary, and they're working full time for somebody else, and they're in a small church somewhere deep in the res, or just somewhere in a Native community, and it's a very small church. They can't support that pastor full time to be able to dedicate all the time necessary to dig into the Word of God and be able to and feed the sheep. So I have a personal affection for those pastors. But Occom Ministries is about helping Native pastors across the board, whatever economic level, whatever education level, wherever they're located. If they're serving in a Native community somewhere, because we want to see the Native American church grow. Let me just pause there. I was given wisdom from a Native Huron clause from Chief Inc. He always let me say, Patrick, be careful when you say Native American church, because there is something called the Native American church, which is it's not an Orthodox biblical church.
You want to say Native Christian church.
We want to say the Native Christian church. So yes, we want to see the Lord's people in Native America grow and be strengthened. We want to see, as our friend Darren Butler, Navajo pastor, he said, we want to see Native America go from a mission field into a mission force. And I just love that. And and so I'm with Darren and others who are like-minded, that we want to see Native America, those folks who live there, to be a mission force. And who knows? Maybe it's going to take Native folk to bring this country back to its biblical foundations. We live in a very pagan society these days. So anyway, enough of this cultural commentary on that one. But we don't just focus on Native pastors, but leaders in general. We want to help teachers in the church, and maybe those who are elders. In our circles, we run in Presbyterian circles, and there's other church circles that they have a high regard for elders who are not the pastors per se, who are doing the teaching, but you need to be apt to teach. By the way, every elder needs to be apt to teach and communicate the faith. But how do we train and fortify those shepherds? Because that's what they are. Elders are shepherds, and so we just want to help the Native Christian Church grow, no matter what corner of Native America or up in First Nations in Canada. No matter where they are, how can that church grow? Well, it's going to take good leadership. It's going to take leaders who have vision, leaders who understand the Word of God and know how to feed the flock. And then also, I do have my Bible up for a reason. And let me just read this passage right here. It's 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. It says, "All Scripture is God-breathed and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, for training in righteousness, so that the man of God may be equipped, having been thoroughly equipped for every good work." And that is just not the man of God. That applies to men and women, whether you're in ministry or not. We all, as God's people, need to understand His Word, and we all have a calling. At some level, we're all called to participate in the Great Commission. Some are evangelists, some are teachers, some are preachers and missionaries, and some are administrators, and some are those in the local church doing what they can to just help that local church be and exist. We're all involved in the Great Commission at some level, right? And so the pastor, the shepherd over the flock, needs to be able to train the sheep for every good work. And we want to help that pastor do what he does better. And like I mentioned earlier, the bullseye that really tugs at my heart, that pastor who didn't go to seminary. I have gone to seminary, and by God's grace, I went to seminary. Meaning, it's all by God's grace in our lives. But when I think of the folks who've helped me along the way and encouraged me to even just go to a Bible college, where I just didn't think that was for me. I didn't think it can happen. I wasn't academic. I didn't finish high school traditionally. I got my GED. Nothing wrong with GEDs, folks. I got my GED, and I didn't think I was a good student, but someone encouraged me to go to Bible school, and then I went and met her, got what I needed, and I got out. Seriously, but then I went out to seminary because I don't know what the Lord was going to do with me, but I just wanted to study, and I had folks encourage me and even financially help me. Without the other people, I could not have done it. And so I know that some people don't have that advantage, but some people, I've been around, the Lord by His providence has put me in around people who wanted to help. So that's in me. That's part of how this ministry exists, is knowing that personal struggle of having a job and having a family and wanting to go to seminary and going to seminary, then try to balance all that with children and all the responsibilities, just trying to live in this world. It's a hard thing, and it's even harder when you're living in some of these difficult communities throughout Native America. So that our burden is for the Native pastor, and also keep an eye out to scout out for new guys, to say someone says, I think I'm called. Well, what can we do to get that young man, or even older man, that some men are called later in life? What can we do to get that man across the finish line, where he can get trained, whether it's formal seminary or just a part of a very serious study program, whether it's a degree or not at the end of the road, but as long as this young man or pastor is engaged in some serious continual study, surrounded by mentors, how can we get that one across the finish line and into serving full time with a sense of confidence that yes, I have been trained. I've had men around me who've mentored me. I've been educated. I know the scriptures, and there's more to always know, of course, but I know enough to get out there and start feeding the sheep. And so I've received those benefits throughout life, and others have too, and I want to be able to share that. And Occom Ministries is a ministry that attempts to do that. So there's a couple philosophy of ministry. I want to talk about that. Philosophy of ministry is this. Ideally, whatever in a world that's not ideal, but we can say ideally, it'd be great for pastors to be raised up from where they in the community where they come from. That's a great option, right? That's at the same time, we recognize that the Apostle Paul was a Jew who went through the Mediterranean world and the Roman world, and so he was a missionary to the so-called Gentiles, right? But so folks from somewhere else can come in. That's not a problem. But we want to just do what we can to have raise up more Native American pastors wherever they live. There's nothing wrong with missionaries still going into this day. There's nothing wrong with folks of a different color, of a different background to serve. And we know so many. We've been to so many Native churches, and the Lord's people there. They don't care what color the pastor is. They really don't. They just want a man of God who can teach them the Word of God. But at the same time, it'd be great if men from the community could be raised up. So we're going to take that approach. And our philosophy of ministry is it starts with a question. What's the Lord already doing there? And how can we join it? There's two questions. So what's the Lord already doing there, wherever there is, and what can we do to partner with those who are already there? The Holy Spirit has already begun to work there. And so what can we do to help supplement that or encourage it more and stoke the fire? That is what Occom does. And we do it in three ways. We actually had a fourth, but we'll talk about that. So one of the ways we do it is our Native Pastors Gathering. And our Native Pastors Gathering it was very annual for like 4 years. Took a year off, had another one this year. And we'll talk about the details of the one this year in our full report, but just giving a description of the ministry and what we do. So Native Pastors Gathering is we just have folks, Native pastors and others. Again, we think of the bullseye, there's the outer rings, those who want to be a pastor, those who were pastors and they can come, or teachers, and their wives, right, and their wives, very important part of that as well. So we have we gather folks in a retreat place. Usually it's Twin Lakes Conference Center in Florence, Mississippi, and it's a beautiful retreat center in the woods. Great staff, and they treat us right, and they just take care of everything for us. And we're bringing pastors from all across, from Navajo and Arizona, and we bring folks from Montana and folks from Minnesota and Oklahoma and South Dakota and anywhere. And it's a free experience. It's a retreat, and they're going to get good teaching and good preaching and time of worship and time of relaxation and time to pray together, a time to share notes, reports from the field, as we call it. And it's a great time for folks to get to know each other and meet each other for the first time. And we have lots of stories about that. And the Lord's really blessed our gatherings throughout the years. And then the other part is the follow-up ministry, because it's just not a 3-day experience. It's following up and visiting these guys and their wives as well, where they live, where they come from. So we've made a number of treks throughout the country in our RV, delivering. We come bearing gifts, where the equipping part, we talked about that, encouraging, visiting them, praying with them, and just being an encouragement like as much as we can, and also bring gifts. And any pastor should have a fortified library. Every pastor is an academic, or ought to be. And so we always bring these great pastoral books with us. So that's one of the things that we've done. And so that's the Native Pastors Gathering and the follow-up ministry. And that's one ministry that we're doing. And then, Lord willing, we want to bring all of our ministries together and move it from this room here in Florida, our sunroom. And we want to have a headquarters, a ministry headquarters, which will be a study center. It will be a discipleship center for just basic discipleship, and also a fortified library and study center for those who want to do further education. and in particular for Native Christian studies, to see there's so much to keep learning and understand about Native America and what the Lord's already done over the last 400 years. And at the same time, it'll be a good Bible and theology library as well. And we already have some gifts, libraries, pastors' libraries donated to us these last couple years. So we have those in storage. So we need to release them from their prison and put them at the what we're calling the Occom Discovery Center. And we don't have that place just yet, where we are asking folks to give to that, and that's part of this appeal, more at the end. So that is not up and running just yet. And then one more thing, and this is groundbreaking news. We talked about it, but now it's time to start doing it and make it happen. It's the Occom Institute, which is short for the Samson Occom Institute for Biblical and Theological Studies.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful,
It's
but
okay.
we'll say Occom Institute for short.
Right.
And right now, that'll be a certificate program. It's going to be a study program for to help those Native pastors say, listen, I'm not prepared to go to seminary just yet, but I should study some more, and I need to get involved in it with a teacher-mentor relationship with somebody, and at least, prime the pump, and more than that, Lord willing. So that's a distance education school, and we already have the 501c3 Occom Ministries, so we're already an educational ministry registered with the state of Florida. We already have a curriculum. I'm always championing Third Mill, formerly known as Third Millennium Ministries, which is a great teaching ministry, and they have a great curriculum for anyone to use in all the major languages throughout, and just a great curriculum. So if you ever go to thirdmill.org, you can see at least our core curriculum that we'll be employing for this whole thing. So the good news is it's with all the irons I have in the fire, I can't do it all and don't want to do it all. But the goal is always to partner with Native folk on the ground from the very beginning, and so we've been scouting out in our gatherings and meeting folks and say and see their interest level and what we're doing, and see how they can join us and partner with them. And so we have a number of folks we're working with, as they call it, nationals in the missionary language, nationals on the ground. We have those relationships that take time to establish and build upon. And so, but we have some good men who are going to be participating in helping get Occom Institute up and running in 2026. So we, Lord willing, will be accepting students for Occom Institute. We just need to take care of that administrative stuff, the policies, procedures, and just the steps and expectations. And Lord willing, by fall of, it doesn't matter which season it starts, but by fall of this year, 2026, Occom Institute will be receiving students. So pray for that. That is more, that is something that I will not be directly, my hands won't be in it. I cast the vision. We know some folks who caught the vision. And so Lord willing, we'll see what he's going to do on that front. Let's see. No, I didn't talk about our needs right now. Oh yeah, we didn't do our report. 2025, quick report. In March, Regina and I took the RV and we loaded up with the some more books that we had. Our essential libraries, and that was a great effort. And we had over 25 volumes per pastor to give away from P&R Publishers, and they gave us a really great rate, and folks pitched in, and we got everything at half off, and we ended up getting 10 libraries, and so we delivered our last, two in person, and then one via mail. We could not get out to Montana this year, so we had to send that one out. But we drove out 2 libraries and delivered them to out in Arizona and Phoenix in New Mexico. So that was a great trip. That was a 10-day trip, and we got to visit. We got deep into Navajo country over there in the res, in a place called Many Farms, and we visited one of our board members. And one of our board members is Pastor Billy Tallis, and he's out there at Many Farms Bible Church, where he was baptized back in 2012, and he's gone on to go to seminary, and he's graduated, and he started full time as the pastor last January.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea of the difficulty of serving in some of these places. Just driving out there is hard. I mean, maybe folks there who live there are used to it, but it's a long drive everywhere, right? It's a long drive everywhere, and I can't imagine being in the heat in Arizona. But we were in there in March, and it got warm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was some really nice days, but it wasn't the sweltering heat. But it's a dry heat, whatever that means. And we visited the church and had a great time visiting Billy and Brianna. But you know, we just, you know, it's public information. It's not private, so I can tell you, it's been posted on his own Facebook. Where, you know, one of the first orders of business that he has done as a pastor, one of his initial pastoral duties, was have a funeral for his little brother, who was he was found
missing.
He was missing for a couple times, and this time he was missing, and then he didn't make it. And so Billy he did the funeral for his younger brother, and then bringing mom back home, and a lot of struggles there, just out there in many farms and rough rock.
Mm-hmm.
But they say rough branch, rough rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard place. They're hard places just to exist and be. And then when you're out there and you have a church, a very small church that hasn't had a full-time pastor in 8 years. So there's a lot of adjusting and a lot of learning, and so Billy is finishing his first year.
Yeah.
But he's been a board member. I've known Billy since 2017, where I first met him at another Native gathering. He was just going into seminary, and so we become friends. And he is a very important board member because he's eyes on the ground. He's just not eyes on the ground. He lives on the ground, right? He's got feet on the ground. He's from there, and so he's someone who's a very good advisor and gives his perspective. And so that was a great trip, and visited another friend of ours, a friend Dino and Nanette Butler, and they're serving at a Broken Arrow Bible Ranch in New Mexico. Great ministry out there, and great friends of ours that we've met at the Native Pastors Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the advantage of the Native Pastors Gathering, we get to meet folks and really get out there and to learn what the needs are.
Mm-hmm.
So also we had a Native Pastors Gathering this last October, and that was... we can go into a lot of details how it came to be this year. We have to raise a lot of money for it, and we didn't have all the money we thought the Lord was going to give us. We're hoping for more. He didn't give us all that we wanted. Therefore, we had to make some adjustments, and the adjustments were great, just as the Lord ordered. And we ended up having celebrating our native. We ended up having our Native Pastors Gathering in conjunction with the celebration of a new church building that was built in Philadelphia, which this particular piece, I say Philadelphia because technically it is in the middle.
Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Mississippi, thank you. Many people don't know about that. But there's the Pearl River Reservation of it's the Choctaw folks who live out there. And I say Philadelphia just to be technical because that little area of land is right in the middle of Pearl River, but that spot happens to be called Philadelphia. Just because you love those details, I love to give them. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a great time that we had this year. It was much smaller than years prior because of budget. We couldn't bring in as many folks as we wanted. But that was this year, those two events. And there's so many things that happen in the middle and all the other months of all the planning and things that we do. So we're going to move on to our needs, right? So, what are our needs? Well, you're looking at the actual staff here of Occom Ministries. It's me and Regina. And we are limited, and our ministry is not going to grow until it can only grow as far as we can reach personally. And there's only so many hours in a day, and we only have so much perspective and abilities and talents and all the rest. We need to grow as a ministry as far as personnel. And so we have a great board of directors, but the day-to-day operations of what happens, that's me and Regina. So whatever ministries that you appreciate, and the larger ministries, especially the bigger ministries, they have departments, right? So right now you're in the mail room, right? You're in the planning room. There's a whiteboard here and there's a whiteboard over there. You're in the planning room. So the war room, and then also all communications and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And if you'll notice, our YouTube is not all that well populated because we don't make that many videos. Because it takes time, edits, and things like that, and I'm not all that proficient in it. Neither is Regina. So all communications and newsletters and that happens, and the daily, the communications on the phone and emails and things like that, and then the event planning, all logistics, all travel. is it right here, a travel agent. So if you need a travel agent, Regina can do it for you. um, but Occom can only grow as far as we can reach, and there's only so many hours in a day and so much we can do. So we're praying for a larger team, but we do not have a budget to pay anybody, right? Occom Ministries doesn't even pay me and Regina. We're not funded. We don't live off of Occom donation. Maybe one day it's going to happen, but that's not in the foreseeable future. We need other folks to come aboard first. Regina and I are funded by donors who give to MTW, Mission to the World. So Mission to the World takes care of us as missionaries, and my job is president of Occom Ministries, and she's a secretary. It's official. Our job right now is to raise the funds and do the ministry that we're called to do for Occom. So any kind of money that we're asking for goes for the day-to-day. What is the day-to-day? We need softwares just to have our donor softwares, and we also have an organization who's helping us with administrative and all the bookkeeping and keeping us legal as a 501c3 organization. There's a lot of things you got to do to stay on top of, because if you don't, you'll lose it that quick. And so we have an organization who's helping us, and that's a monthly fee. And so this is the administrative cost just to exist as a ministry. And then also our travel, our postage, that costs money. In a PO box, that costs money every year. We're also renting out a couple. We have one rental space, which is
storage unit.
One storage unit, which is holding the library that had been given to us. So right now we're not asking for any more books.
Not at this time.
Once the library is up and running, we're going to say, folks, here's our wish list of all the books, and then send them. But we got books still kicking around here that we had to drive up there recently, and we have some more coming in. So yes, so those are our needs, right? Our biggest needs, of course, we need funding to keep doing what we're doing. We have some anticipated travel. We want to do another a tour either in the summer or in the fall of 2026. We want to deliver some more books. We have more books to give away for these pastors, and again, encouraging it. We can just throw it in the mail. We do if we need to. We know we can't get out there, and it's more important for this pastor to get these books. We'll do that, but we prefer to make it personal. Drive out there, get a better lay of the land, what's going on, and just spend a couple days with these folks and pray with them and all the rest. So, so I think that's it. But yeah, that was an important improvement. Yeah, that was another thing, is coming on board with that Auxilio partners, and they're the ones who keep our books straight and put everything in order, and we meet with them every month. And so that was important, a really big change and a good change in 2025. It really helped us just get our house in order. We just need to have things organized because there's just too many things going on. So we talked about Occom Institute. We'd already talked about the Oak Discovery Center. Now here's the appeal. And it's been only 28 minutes into this, so we pray that you've hung on this long. And if you have, thank you. But here's what we need. We need some year-end gifts. We need our budget this year for 2026. It's going to be a repeat of 2025, and we didn't get it all. I'll finish the sentence soon enough. We need we're asking for like $25,000 for this year's budget. And again, we have no staff to pay. We have other things. We have travel that has to take place. And travel logistics is more than just gas money. It really is the mileage, because we have a vehicle, like any vehicle, they wear out in the road. And so we take the mileage on that one. And we stay in places sometimes, but we have an RV, so we can save money on that as well. And then we have more postage to do. We have a lot of mailings to do. We have a lot of communications to do, a lot of visiting different missions conferences to represent the ministry and visitations. So we have these trips already marked out as we did last year. And so it's pretty much the same budget as last year, a lot of the same things we want to repeat. So right now we're asking if $25,000 would cover our budget for 2026. And if you want to if you want to write a check for all that, you go right ahead. Lord bless you. But we can't. But I can tell you, though, is we give to this ministry. We believe in it, and we're going to keep giving to it. We give of ourselves. We give of we financially give. So we wouldn't ask you to do something we don't already do. But the fact is, we can't support this ministry by ourselves. We just can't. And perhaps we've been guilty in the past of maybe trying to do something that the Lord didn't ask us to do, and He's going to pick up the rest of it. And so we can't fund it all. If I did, if I was a millionaire, we'd be done, and I'd take care of everything. But we're not there. So we're inviting you to partner with us here at Occom Ministries. There is so much work to be done. We want to help those native pastors that are out there. We want to see those churches grow. We want to find more native pastors to do what they do. We want to help with, again, not just pastors, but other teachers in the church. How many great Sunday school teachers have you had who taught you about the Lord? And so we want to just keep on moving what we're doing. The Lord has blessed us so far, but we need more help. And so pray for us. Pray for those needs that we talked about. We need more folks to join us. And we need more financial support and opportunities, and pray even for the people we're trying to reach who we haven't even met yet. Pray, say, Lord, is there someone, is there a pastor somewhere in among Blackfeet? Is there a pastor coming out somewhere is it somewhere in Oklahoma? Is there someone who you're calling as a pastor, and are you going to have Occom Ministries invest in his life to get him across the finish line to being a pastor? I don't know. Pray about it. Pray for the mission field itself and the people who are there, those we have not met yet, and anything else? She's been so patient. I've been doing all the talking. But this ministry, it's a long haul endeavor. This is not. It's not plug and play. It's not a vending. You just put something in and pull the knob and something happens. This is a long haul endeavor, and we're in it for the long haul. And so I was just having a great conversation with a friend and mentor just recently about the future. Once, Lord willing, it's going to happen where we're not here anymore, and this ministry has to go way past Patrick and Regina. Because there's so much work to be done. We're not going to see instant results, but we're going to just lay the groundwork, cast the vision, and see who we can partner with and see who the Lord's going to send our way. We need you to pray about that, but for us to do just the minimal right now, we're asking we need $25,000 for our budget just to operate and do some of the things we do. But then there's also, if you want to give extra to the Occom Discovery Center, we'll have a link to that as well. We need a place. We need a place beyond this room here, and where we can do our ministry, face-to-face ministry on a continual basis at the discipleship level. How are we doing? We good?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us, and I'm going to go ahead and click off now. And Lord bless you, and we'll see what the Lord's going to do in 2026. Keep with it. Oh, this will be on YouTube, so just do the like and subscribe. Let's see if we can grow this channel, and Lord willing, we're also talking about having a weekly Bible study as well. So we're praying about that. Another thing, I put it on the pile, a list of things to do, which I'd love to do. So, all right, folks, until next time, bye-bye.